So, guys, we just watched the Doctor Strange trailer, and we've been talking about it for ages, and we thought, why not watch the awesome breakdown that new Rockstar does about the trailer? So we've downloaded it, and we're going to watch it right now to see
how right
what he notices in this trailer. And it's a 25-minute video, so there's obviously a lot of shit that even we didn't notice in that 2 minutes 15 seconds. So yeah, we'll check it out and see what awesome stuff he thinks of.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Boss, and this is a breakdown of the latest trailer for Marvel's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which assures us
I will always be your old friend.
Checkmate! We are getting an MCU Illuminati lineup, including
thought.
Patrick Stewart, Charles Xavier.
The Neymar actually in that lineup.
This movie. I gotta admit, I've outdone myself on this one, folks. Analyzing this trailer frame by frame for details I don't think anyone else is insane enough to see or to talk about. And yeah, I'm also gonna include some stuff in the TV spot version of the trailer and clues in the
What the hell?
Yeah, it's a TV spot version. God damn it.
For sponsoring today's video, more on them later. Let's get started.
Every night, I dream the same dream.
Oh, the TV spot, the trailer, damn it.
Must be the Super Bowl.
Yeah, maybe.
So the trailer opens in Strange's nightmare, a frightening hellscape covered in bones and skulls, dead trees bent askew, and in front of him, a representation of the Sanctum Sanctorum melting into inky nothingness like the other New York buildings we saw in the first trailer, all evoking the comic book ink melting of reality in What If Episode 4, except this isn't exactly Strange's Sanctum. It's significantly thinner than we last saw it in Spider-Man No Way Home, and it is 1 floor taller. The effect is a more gaunt structure, like a croaking haunted hotel. What was his healthy Sanctum Fortress is now a withering skeleton of itself. And notice in the sky is a glowing red eye, reminding us, of course, of the red edges of Wanda Maximoff's Hex reality in WandaVision. This whole nightmare could be being projected into Strange's mind by the Scarlet Witch. Since the commercials in WandaVision were confirmed to be messages from Strange to Wanda, these two share a psychic link. Now, this Strange has a patch of blue sewn into the cloak of levitation, an inverse of the red patch on blue of Defender Strange, who saves America Chavez in a second. Blue versus red seems to be an important point of contrast in this film. Strange has been shifted from his normal red tones to blue tone, along with a lot of the settings in this to signal passivity, all to contrast Wanda Maximoff's red chaos and violence. Now, on the other side of the Sanctum doors, there's a reverse shot of Strange's entrance from the first trailer. Now we see how the stormy sea has claimed the whole Sanctum structure, save for the central staircase, which now extends up and up and up into nowhere like a trick, luring one to heaven, except it's not. It goes into this hellish red eye. Now, at the base of the staircase, these weren't there the past times we saw the Sanctum. Now, these two
Someone else's?
One male, one female, both bearing torches, may be representing the Maximoff twins. Then a teacup shatters on the ground. Behind it looks like the wheel of an old wheelchair. Now, this isn't exactly the wheelchair of Professor X from the X-Men films, but I suspect a lot is going to be changing for whatever cameos show up in this film. Then America Chavez gets strung up in front of a star portal, which, if you look closely, opens up to endless more star portals within that portal. This is her best known power, to kick open these star-shaped portals. We might actually be seeing the origin of her powers right here. We actually saw this same setting in the first trailer. I think it is her home reality, the Utopian Parallel. In the comics, the Utopian Parallel faces destruction from black holes, so her mothers sacrifice themselves, their particles dispersing throughout the multiverse. And the creature attacking her here may be, go with me on this, the Demiurge, who is the embodiment of Earth's sentient life, and in the comics, the original source of her powers, and we should mention, is one final form of Billy Kaplan, Wiccan, Wanda Maximoff's son, which could be how this film ties.
Oh shit, okay.
Going deep into the lore now.
Then again, the Demiurge hasn't really been shown to be this hostile and demonic. Actually, another possibility here, this entity's ribbony appearance, like glowing electrical tape, could connect to Strange's spell, the Crimson Bands of Citrak, which he used to restrain which could make this fella maybe Citrak himself. Now, the TV shot actually showed in this moment an alternate Defender Doctor Strange, hair tied back in a ponytail with stripes, stripes, saving America Chavez from this thing, using what looks like a three-dimensional version of Strange's normal flat Eldritch magic to hold off the entity, which would then lead to the shot we see in this trailer of that same ponytailed Doctor Strange tumbling.
Oh, it's
Doctor
Strange, okay.
A shot that flips upside down to find us back with our Doctor Strange in bed. But is it our Doctor Strange? Because his hands are fully healed. When in past films, Strange's hands are always meant to be
shit.
or scarred and weak. There's an iPad left open on his bed, coffee filters into test tubes on his nightstand. Strange said in this part of the trailer that he has the same dream every night. Hell Sanctum, his alternate self saving a kid, and then the nightmare begins. So the nightmare might be
Maybe somebody's taking out Doctor Strange's from each reality.
Maybe.
And he's getting the psychic backlash for it.
Never entered his hands, really just aged into a lonely douchebag falling asleep with his Pornhub tab still open.
Nice.
That's amazing.
I did what I had to do.
Now, when Strange says the nightmare begins, we should also acknowledge the possibility that the demonic entity Nightmare could be the villain of this film, as this idea was floated by the original director Scott Derrickson. The Marvel Studios title card turns purple and has tentacle snakes in the letters, evoking the limbs of Gargantos, but also one of the multi-limbed creatures in What If, which this movie seems to be showing the live-action versions of. In fact, on the poster for this film, in the lower right corner, one broken shard of glass shows the shield of Captain Carter.
Oh,
And
fuck.
Billy Atwell may show up in
Gotta
this
bring
film
Peggy
as
back.
a
That'd be awesome.
character.
She's really good in
Then
that show.
Doctor Strange conjures these red orbs. If you look closely, they're coming from the Darkhold on the floor there.
He's
That's
got the
Marvel
Darkhold?
Studios.
What the fuck?
Maybe she gives it to him after he goes and visits her.
It was played
Yeah.
by Wanda. That's why the magic it conjures is now red, like Wanda's
He's
chaos
trying to do-
magic,
use
as
both.
we saw her conjuring in that final WandaVision scene.
Yeah,
we
it's
could be
like-
seeing a depiction of the various
She was trying to
universes being connected.
pass the
in this movie,
multiverse for
with
her
Doctor
kids, wasn't
Strange
she?
trying to
Yeah.
locate one world in particular. In the foreground of that shot, that looks like that is one of Maximoff standing there with him. But then Strange, suddenly afraid, slams all this magic back into the book as if he's trying to hide it from the person in the room with him. And on that page, you can see a triangle, perhaps a symbol of Marvel's Illuminati, a location he wants to
Looks more like a mountain.
Illuminati confirmed.
Yeah.
Protect our world. You cannot control everything, Strange. You opened the doorway between universes. And we don't know who or what will
He's got the blue thing on the back.
So Strange argues that he did what he had to do to protect our world. Our world, as in his actions saved his universe at the expense of all other universes. Strange used the Time Stone to give his universe an improper advantage to undo Thanos' snap. More recently, he used his magic of the Runes of Kafkal to basically gaslight and warp society into a whole bunch of plot holes. Mordo warned us about this, that when Strange would push the laws of reality like this,
The bill comes due. Always.
and like Strange in that What If universe bypassing an absolute point, this Strange's reality has begun to melt the same exact way and open itself up to interdimensional threats. We see a new look at this melting from the rooftop, individual bricks breaking off, cars floating in that blizzard, headlights still shining. Now the melting of the buildings here seems to merge into these black strands, reminding us of the Ancient One's dark branch timeline that she warned Bruce Banner about in Endgame. And here it's not just that reality is melting into nothing, but that chaos is spinning into one beneficiary destination. On to the next clip.
Wanda, what do you know about the multiverse?
Viz had his theories. He believed it was dangerous.
He was right.
So we see Scarlet Witch once again holding the seance in the Camartage courtyard. We know that's where it is because you can tell from the statues behind her and the floor beneath her, the same tiling that we see beneath that Minotaur sorcerer later. We get a better look of him in this trailer. This is Rintrock from the comics. But yes, the Scarlet Witch is probably the one attacking Camartage because actually in the TV spot, the sorcerers in that courtyard raise their shields to some floating figure overhead. I'm pretty sure that
That
is
looks-
Wanda.
that looks like Doctor
Strange.
Strange.
Yeah.
Look at the end of one in the seance. Her Scarlet Witch wardrobe has evolved. Her sleeves now cover her arms fully, and
She had a cape
darker
in
tones
WandaVision.
Yeah.
streak through her chest piece and her tiara. Also, as we pointed out before, the tips of her fingers are black, similar to Agatha's fingers when she would use dark magic. And I like this right as we hear Strange say, "Wanda." A shockwave blows out from her body. Now, in her orchard, if that is what it really is, Strange. Wanda tells Strange that Vision had theories about the multiverse, that it was dangerous. So, despite Vision warning Wanda, she still created an alternate reality in that Westview Hex, and now continues to peer through alternate
You think
universes
White Vision's going to show up in this?
Maybe.
Yes,
I mean,
this
why not?
orchard with sheep is probably an illusion, because later in the trailer, as Wanda points out the double standard of Strange breaking the rules and him getting to be a hero, Strange is wearing the same outfit as he is here in the orchard, suggesting that Wanda is actually in a much darker place in this moment, both in her mindset and in her literal surroundings. Moving on.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Stephen. Your desecration of reality will not go unpunished.
Here we go.
So Strange brings America Chavez and Christine Palmer to the ruins of what I think is the Utopian parallel. And Christine wears this sleek blue outfit, and that's
it's
because
Christine,
this might actually be an alternate Christine Palmer whom Strange found working at Illuminati HQ, because the TV spot reveals Christine in these clothes plus a white lab coat in their detainment sector. Then Mordo, or perhaps an alternate version of Mordo that might actually be Sorcerer Supreme from his native reality, detains Strange using these nifty-looking handcuffs. I love the design of these because it's a mix of analog sorcerer machinery with runes engraved into that spinning lock in the middle, but overall they have this chunky silver chrome of something more futuristic, something that might be connected to the vibranium tech of these Ultron Sentries. Ultron Sentries! Who escort Doctor Strange in this awesome location that looks like a Supreme Court Hall
It's the
of
British
Justice.
Museum. It's in London.
Kneeling winged statues, and then a warrior with a sword and a ring. The way a certain multiversal warrior, Captain Carter, emerged from a circular portal with her sword in hand. Now this whole interior, the glass ceiling, the curved staircases, the classic columns, is actually the interior of the British Museum in
There you go.
London.
Good,
A place
good,
that
cool.
I've been to many times. I love the British Museum. It's famous for having the Rosetta Stone, one of the earliest artifacts that anthropologists have used to translate, decode, cross-reference old languages, which is super fitting for Charles Xavier to model his multiversal nexus point on such a cultural touchstone. Now, assuming this is Illuminati HQ, I find it fascinating the parallels between this and the Citadel of He Who Remains in Loki, which also had a lit tower, inner columns, and 4 statues in its central chamber, one of which was mysteriously destroyed. We have an answer to what that was all about. Now, there are 6 chairs on the Illuminati panel, but we only see 3 members in this trailer. Could Kang have been a 4th member of the Illuminati who was cast out, leading to him constructing his own crude imitation of the
Maybe,
Illuminati
yeah.
Citadel? A citadel and a sham judicial bureaucracy of his own, run by 3 puppets. It's just a theory. Now, if you're keeping your fingers crossed that the Beanie Baby collection in your mom's attic is going to regain its value and all of your money concerns will be gone, our friends at Truebill are here to help take some of the pressure off of Claude the Crab.
Right, okay, good. I was wondering what that was going. I was like, well, that has to do with any trailer. It's like, wait, what?
There's a multiverse out there where Beanie Babies get their value.
Yeah, they took over the world. Marvel Beanie Babies everywhere. Instead of those fucking
Pop vinyls.
Safely and securely identify recurring charges and cancel unwanted subscriptions with just a tap. It's also got some nice credit score monitoring tools to give you a little nudge when something fishy might be happening. Not fishy like Bubbles the Beanie Baby, but you know, like scamming. Truebill helps set budgets that automatically monitor your spending by category, get friendly notifications when you've exceeded your budget, and visualize your spend to earn
You're
ratio
fucked.
over time. Get started with
Stop buying hot toys.
Truebill.com/newrockstars or by clicking the link.
This is you without hot toys. You're bound to get this.
Yeah, you're a millionaire.
We should tell him the truth.
Ooh, baby, yes, one of the biggest reveals in MCU history, one that we will be unpacking for months to come. Yes, that was the voice of Patrick Stewart, Professor
Good
Charles
call, Russ.
Xavier in the Fox X-Men.
Never forget that man's
No,
voice.
I
The
never.
Marvel Cinematic Universe as a member of what is almost certain to be the Illuminati. Now, Marvel's Illuminati is a secret alliance of Tony Stark, Charles Xavier, Reed Richards, Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, and Namor. Black Panther was initially gonna be part of it, but he backed out. Actually, in Iron Man 2, Tony Stark had a little app on his phone labeled Illuminati. Fun little Easter egg there. Here, the Illuminati, if they will still go by that name,
Illuminati app.
see
Oh, they need me.
as a multiversal governing body with representatives from across universes. By bringing Fox X-Men characters into this, they're building on the meta logic from Spider-Man No Way Home. Marvel Studios is now adopting formerly separate cinematic universes as mere universes within their multiverse and expanding to the Fox X-Men titles. But if Patrick Stewart is a representative from a separate reality, that could limit how much of that separate reality we actually see in this movie, and which other Fox X-Men cameo just get. Like Ian McKellen Magneto, Hugh Jackman Wolverine, maybe not. But Ryan Reynolds Deadpool, very likely, as he has been long confirmed to cross over to the MCU, and now that door has been opened. I mean, this could also give us some context, finally, to why Evan Peters was cast as Wanda's brother, Pietro, in
Yeah, that was just a
X.
random
Now,
throwaway
yes,
piece of
sure,
bullshit.
you could say this is just a Ralph Boner joke. But the logic is all in place now. We never saw Ralph after Wanda's hex, so it could just be as simple as Wanda's ability to warp reality might have caused her to pull the likeness of a Pietro from the nearest adjacent universe. Like, if Tom Holland Peter Parker were to die in the MCU and Wanda Maximoff wanted to create a pocket reality where Peter was alive once more, the Peter in that hex might look like Andrew Garfield. If that makes sense to you, Evan Peters actually being Pietro from his Fox X-Men timeline, crossing over into WandaVision could make an equal amount of sense. Now, meanwhile, I don't know if this is the Charles Xavier from the exact Fox X-Men timeline, whatever that was at the end of that series, because one thing that was clear is that Charles Xavier died in the year 2029 in Logan after it was revealed he accidentally stole all the X-Men.
Dark film.
I think it's likelier that this
Love
Charles
that film.
could be from
So
a
much.
It's
branch
David Phil.
timeline within that universe, because time travel screwed up a lot of stuff there, let's be honest. He actually could be something closer to a live-action version of the X-Men 97, a version of Charles Xavier that existed in the branch timeline that eventually...
He's not in. He won't be in that. He died.
Technology. Now, yes, there are 6 chairs. So let's try to fill these chairs, who they belong to. 2 of the figures are seated, and one walks in with a cane. So I'm wondering if this could be Charles, who in this form has found his ability to walk once more. Now,
Or has the Iron Man created him like an exoskeleton set of legs?
That you could say
So if you can make out Ultron droids, you can make something walk.
yeah.
Can't you?
And yes, this Illuminati lineup may include a new actor playing a variant of T'Challa. However, I think this particular figure just looks a bit more slender in the arms, like Reed Richards. But that would also...
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, let's be honest. He's jacked, Ryan. But let's slide over to another seated figure who is hooded. Could this be Sorcerer Supreme Mordo? Or Alt-Reality Photon or Spectrum Monica Rambeau? Or were those Ultron sentries a clue that one member of this panel is actually Ultron Infinity from What If? Or that brilliant...
Spoilers! Sorry, spoilers! You haven't seen that. You need to watch that show.
Actually succeeded instead of turning on him, which led to him being able to evolve into the superior Iron Man.
That's what you said.
By Tom Cruise.
Oh god.
There was a rumor
Original
that
casting,
there was a
yeah.
rumor he was on set
Was
in an Iron Man costume.
Really?
I mean, you imagine that'd be
That'd
fucking
be
so
amazing.
weird, so fucked up.
Wasn't that the original rumoured casting?
Yeah,
Or
the original
fan
way
casting?
back. Yeah, way back before.
Sorcerer was a mistake, or that all of this is just some Kang exposed sham organization? Perhaps, but I think the truth here is that the MCU that we have loved all these years is not the core reality of this multiverse. That instead, we have actually been living in an incomplete post-House of M reality, where mutants have been erased this whole time. We just didn't see it as anything.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
It is
That's a good
time
idea.
to fix that. Let's move on.
From Iron Man 1, we've been living in House of M.
Yeah,
That's messed up.
that would make sense though. Where's no mutants though, right? That would make sense.
Things just got out of hand.
Okay, some real bonkers shit here. Doctor Strange and America Chavez fall through a reality
Dinosaurs.
with dinosaurs, a T-Rex fight a Triceratops, but then to top that, they insanely smash into an animated cartoon reality. This could be one way
What?
doors open to crossover.
It's like 60s Spider-Man.
It does.
Captain Carter gets roped into this. Then Strange and America explode into cubic puzzle pieces. A visual that looks like a mix of Drax's Reality Stone hit in Infinity War and Joe Quesada's art of the Scarlet Witch on the House of M variant cover. Some of their blocks look like stones from a statue, and you can actually see the rows of Steven's individual teeth still intact in his gums on each block. On to the next clip.
Oh, this will be interesting.
Yeah.
Who's this?
You break the rules. You become the hero. I do it. I become the enemy.
So yeah, it looks like Wanda will invade Illuminati HQ and get into a huge brawl with someone who looks like they're going binary the way Captain Marvel does. But if you look at that person closely, this is a woman of color. Now, I know some of you think
That
this
is
is Tom
Monica
Cruise with
Rambeau.
a goatee, but that's just a contouring of her cheeks. Tom Cruise's figure is not this womanly, folks. This is definitely either Monica Rambeau or her mother, Maria Rambeau. Maria Rambeau's call sign was Photon, and in the main MCU, she died of cancer during the blip. But in WandaVision, Monica Rambeau powered up into the superhero we assume
Makes sense for it to be
Photon.
Yeah, it does make sense to me.
The moment that happened, her body was split into several alternate selves as she passed through that hex wall. And I think one of those alternate cells could be this one we are seeing now. And if you think about it, Monica fighting Wanda seems to be the most epic collision, considering these two were both there for the Battle of Westview in WandaVision. Then we see the attack on Camartage in the tea room that we saw in the 2016 film, including Master Hamir returning from that film. Then a close-up of America Chavez gives a good look at her wardrobe. Stars embroidered on her jean jacket, along with the phrase "Amor es amor," love is love, and a flag pin signaling some LGBTQ plus representation. Gargantos throws the bus with an ad on the end for La Llave Coffee and Tea, with the tagline "Unlock a better day." And then over to the left, the phone booth has an ad for Celestial Tea, the magic of tea. Then I love this shot. Strange looks up at another alternate sanctum with a statue out front, a statue that has no facial hair, though in this New York, greenery and oddly curved wind turbines cover all the buildings, and white flowering trees line the streets. Trees like the ones in Wanda's fake orchard. So in Strange's nightmare, we saw the darkest timeline. Here, this looks like the brightest timeline, where a variant Strange has used his powers only to better society. Moving on.
It doesn't seem fair.
Okay, so interesting. Two Wandas meet each other, and this is Wanda's Westview house in WandaVision. You can see two scooters in the background belonging to her sons, Billy and Tommy. One of their baseball gloves on the floor.
So is that the one that didn't give up Westview, you think, maybe?
Maybe.
And she just stayed there.
On her own.
Between these two Wandas.
Or maybe Vision's there, but she just kept the it going.
Youch. I actually wonder if this kneeling Wanda tried to recreate the Westview hex to have her children once more, but failed. And now, defeated, she's letting the darker side of her identity take over. If you think about it, the last time we saw her in WandaVision, her consciousness was split into two conscious selves. Something people who astrally project normally can't do. There was one in casual wear brewing tea, and then the other one in the Scarlet Witch form searching for her kids actively. And now, I'm wondering which of those two is actually the deadlier threat. The one who's searching for her kids, or the one who's just sipping tea, not giving a we shot again of Mordo striking Strange's cuffs. Now I'm wondering if Mordo might be doing this on purpose to free Strange so that Strange can help them fight this invading Scarlet Witch. But it might be too late because a huge explosion from red chaos magic tears through the HQ, leading to these elaborate fireworks as we think Rainbow's form gets blasted.
Got like metal gloves.
Then
and
the sorcerer
boots.
uses a sick move with a lasso to attack Gargantos. The TV spot actually showed America Chavez beneath this gross underbelly, and in these close-ups you can see how each of its suckers are actually barbed with teeth. Ugh. Then this gnarly shot of Wanda aiming red chaos magic. She's at the doorway of Illuminati HQ. Her face is bleeding like crazy.
She wearing the same thing as that other Wanda had in the house.
Behind her,
I think so.
Looks like one of the bells of Camartage. Perhaps after sacking that location and holding her seance there, she used that to access the gateway to this compound. But why does she want to get in here? Well, when the camera zooms into her eye, there's a brief image of
that's
two
Pietro.
holding cells. These are
There's two
Illuminati
kids.
detention cells. Doctor Strange was cuffed in one of these, and in the TV spot, Christine Palmer works among other techs who hold America in another cell. So I think the reason Wanda hasn't been able to find a reality with her sons, the reason why her attempt to recreate Westview didn't work, is that the Illuminati are detaining Billy and Tommy here in these two cells. And for Wanda, that's especially infuriating because it's exactly what Hydra did to her and her twin brother, locking them up in adjacent cells. Like in the comic House of M, all of this madness comes from a denial by Professor X and by Doctor Strange to allow Wanda reality with her children. And it's gonna end with Wanda drastically warping all that reality, but in this case, I think a restoration of mutants alongside Avengers in the MCU. On to the final clip.
That would be the best bit ever.
So we end with a version of Doctor Strange and Wong on this snowy mountaintop trying to rein in these demonic figures. These beings look like they're actually made of the same inky texture that the buildings and the other surfaces are melting into. As if this is the chaos that it's all bleeding into. Now, the TV spot actually shows Strange facing another peak across the way with some winged devil at the peak of it. That spot also shows a close-up of Strange, whose face is rotting away.
Zombie
looking
Strange?
a lot like his zombie Strange self in What If Episode 5. I point it out because the TV spot also includes a shot of Wanda looking especially zombie-like.
Whoa,
Now, while Zombie
okay.
Strange in that episode got devoured by ants, zombie Wanda survived, and she returned in the final episode. So I don't know if these are zombies as much as they're
I
just
need to get on watching that.
corpses, but it's just insane to see their souls so strong that they can keep their bodies intact long after their flesh should have expired. The final shot shows this rotting Strange blocking a rift in the darkness. Dozens of inky skeletons trying to shove out past him as skeleton arms fan out behind him, evoking the images of Icon pose that he formed when fighting Thanos in Infinity War. Now, counteracting that spell was the one time we saw the Soul Stone being used in the MCU, and I find it interesting that Strange's soul is all he has left. The film title comes together from hundreds of pieces, like the shattering and reassembling shards of reality in this movie, but this is the third title design we've seen. It's almost like the studio wants us to constantly reframe the reality in which we see this movie every time they talk about it. So folks, you gotta check out
That way, made multiple versions of the film. They're just gonna have to watch all three of them to get the whole.
Imagine it. There's 25 films to watch.
Yeah.
This is their new strategy.
Each one's different.
This is their new strategy. Yeah, we didn't make that much money, but we've got the next film's coming out. It's just like,
Same film for the next 25
yeah.
minutes.
We're going to release one Doctor Strange a month
Oh,
up until
man.
next year.
That's fucking crazy.
Oh, man.
That was an exhaustive breakdown.
Yeah.
But most of what we said though.
Yeah. There's a few extra bits in there, but yeah, a lot of. I say you need to watch the What If. I'm quite curious how
Have you
much
seen
of
it,
that
bro?
show,
No, I haven't seen it.
how much of those episodes are going to be in this, whether it's part of the actual same thing.
Tying everything up.
Yeah. Yeah,
Are
definitely.
they doing a season 2? I think
Yeah.
they are, aren't they?
Yes, they are. And we'll be reacting to season 2. Season 1 was pretty awesome. Yeah, interesting. But I can't. Oh man, if they have the Illuminati, they would need to have Reed Richards in it. But
It's weird though, like, when you would... If they did Superior Spider-Man... Superman...
Iron Man,
Iron Man.
one of them.
Why would you not just cast Tony Stark again?
What, Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, why would you go for somebody
know, I
else?
don't know.
If it is Tom Cruise. It's a very odd choice.
Alternate
I
reality.
suppose maybe Robert Downey Jr. said,
He's basically.
I'm not doing anything else. So they're
I know
like,
they struggled to get him back at the end of Endgame. Didn't they?
Yeah.
to do some stuff. So he's kind of.
and you got like Peters. There's 3 different actors for Peter.
Yeah.
Which is the same with Hugh Jackman, wasn't it? It's like, I don't want to cut. Logan was the end of Wolverine for me. I don't want to do anything more.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think he'll be back again.
No, I don't think. I kind of like that. If they're going to bring in, and I like the theory that the MCU is actually post House of M. And that's why there's no mutants. And
Kind of
potentially
interesting, that.
this film or a film.
But it
coming
does
up-
nullify everything we've ever seen. Because they go, right, we're going back now, it's before, they're all in it.
Well, no,
Nothing else
but
matters.
they could like she could be like, rather than no more mutants, say bring back mutants or something, and everything's happened. Then there's just mutants in the
I
world.
suppose.
But that would be a good way to bring in the X-Men. I could deal with that. That would be amazing. But I would like it to be a new X-Men. I don't want it to be
Yeah, I don't want anybody else. that's been there
because
before.
you've got the original cast are like too old now. You need like a brand new cast
do it right.
of people.
And who's the X-Men team that actually goes between different multiverses? Different universes, sorry, multiverses. There's... I can't remember the name. They're all called X something. It's not X Force. It's maybe something else.
X Factor.
Um,
I just you can have your basic, you can have your Cyclops and your Wolverine, and like I'd love Gambit to be in it, Rogue Storm, usual like people, but just new actors and like an MCU version of the X-Men. Because even if you do that, you could then at some point, if you wanted to do a whole, we'll be them, the sort of Fassbender, McAvoy X-Men, and then the original X-Men into like all 3 if you wanted to, but you didn't have to. But just to have the choice would be nice. I don't see. It's a shame because I did like the McAvoy Fassbender.
Yeah, Fassbender and McAvoy were amazing.
I quite like the
they just kept messing up the timelines.
Yeah, I quite like the guy who played Cyclops and Jean Grey and stuff.
Yeah.
They were all pretty good, but it's too late now because they've had bad lots of. I don't mind the movies, but lots of people hate them. So you can't bring them into the MCU because they're like, oh god, this lot again. So you need to refresh it. So I would like that to happen. I'm curious.
I still think that circular thing is Neymar.
You think?
I think that's water. I think that's going to represent... Especially if it's the Illuminati, he should be on that council.
You should be, yeah.
Should be. which means that the
Which is a good nod into mutants.
Yeah.
Ah!
I mean, isn't there a nod? There's a nod in Endgame, isn't there? When what's it, the head of the Wakanda security? What's her name?
Okoye.
Yeah. She says something about something at the bottom of the ocean.
Oh yeah, we'll take
And like,
care of
he
that.
looks at him and goes, it's an earthquake at the bottom of the ocean. It's fine. And
Yeah.
everyone was like, oh, maybe that was Neymar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm so curious to see if it's gonna do as many cameos as people are now going to start thinking about, because you've said that bit with like the shield from Captain Carter and all this kind of stuff, or whether there's not going to be none and it's just going to be hints.
We got to take they've got to be thinking of Spider-Man. They're like, we put 2 extra cameras in that blew up, and that film went mental. Why not we just go on that train?
Yeah, but they've already filmed it. They already filmed all this.
I know, but the CGI is powerful thing nowadays.
Yeah, you can just reshoot.
You could just get somebody in a
You look at the tech
green
they're
room
using-
and just film it.
Look at the tech they're using in Boba Fett and Mandalorian to bring Luke back into the series.
Yeah.
So maybe there'll be, you could have, if it's popular enough, a Captain Carter TV series and CGI.
Yeah. Haley, what her name is?
Well, no, not Haley. What's his name?
Oh, Chris Evans. Yeah.
If
I say she should be
If
fine
Chris
doing
Evans
it.
doesn't want to come back, then they can have him because he's in the Hydra Stomper, isn't he?
Yeah, he's normal, skinny Steve. So he's CGI'd anyway, basically. So, yeah. But no, but it's curious because I know a few of the characters from that show. You have to watch it, and I'll tell you about it. Have become very popular, so I wouldn't be surprised if they
Try and capitalise on that.
try and bring it out as like a live action. Because Captain Carter TV show would be awesome. Yeah, awesome.
It's going to be.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good film.
Interesting to see also what they do with it afterwards.
Yes,
how it ends.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. See if it links in something else.